And I think that's, when we had the idea to launch this podcast, and I had a mortgage lender you specifically on the top of the list here, because it's something that we see a lot in working with our clients is, we're like everybody. We want to help them pay the least amount of taxes possible, right?
Of course.
That's what their accountant wants, and again, in a legal way. But, I see a lot of people shoot themselves in their foot. And, I try to educate them and, provide that guidance. Sometimes they listen. We had one client, didn't listen, tried to get a home loan this year, was mad that he couldn't get it. And I'm like, well, if you would have listened to us 3 years ago, you might have been in a better spot. I was like, I get it. This isn't the time to be like, I told you so, but we kind of told you so, right? But I think it's very important to understand those things because, there is a very fine line there and you have to plan ahead. I think that's kind of the whole theme of this conversation today is you have to plan ahead if you plan on buying a home or refinancing or anything with that, is you have to plan ahead, right? You don't want to pay taxes, but sometimes you have to in order to make sure you can do what you want to do 2 to 5 years down the road.
Yeah. And I would plan ahead a minimum of 2 years.
Okay.
If you've been in business 5 years.
Right.
Or more.
Yep.
If you have not been in business 5 years, they're not just using that 1 year, and we can kind of get into that. But, if you've been in business 5 years, plan 2 years ahead.
Yep. For
a home purchase, a home refinance.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So it's still somebody digging into your paperwork and your numbers.
For sure. For sure. And now is it, just to, I guess, clarify, is it you have to have a Schedule C income for 5 years? Does it have to be the current business you're operating? If you have people that were in a business and then they transition to a different business, like how do you guys kind of look at some of that?
Well, that's an interesting question. So you have to be in that same line of work, pay, whatever.
Okay.
So if you own it, you have to own it for at least 2 years to get that average.
Makes sense.
Okay. That 5-year mark kind of eases up some of the qualifications that we need. You've been in business long enough. We don't have to establish that you can make it or not. Right. You've made it. Yep. You're doing your thing.
You've ran a business for 5 years. As we know, 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. So.
Yes. Yeah. So then it becomes a little like, we can go Freddie instead of Fannie, and we can only use 1 year of taxes instead of 2 years average. And then you can kind of start getting a little, a little less, not tidy, but just a little less on your paperwork.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can kind of shut out that second year and just focus on that 1 year.
That's good.
Which is a big deal for some people.
Yep.
Because like right now, people are filing taxes and all of that. And so they're calling me right before they file.
And saying,
what number do I need to have?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And I'm telling them exactly what number they need to qualify for the home amount that they are looking for.
Right.
They're filing, they're getting it done. I'm seeing it.
Yep.
I've already established the fact that they will qualify going the 1 year instead of the 2, things like that.
Yep.
So it's really important. After tax time,
there's nothing you can do. Well,
sometimes you can amend.
Yeah.
Your tax accountant can talk about that.
Yep. We'll bring that up with Mike when he comes on. But
not a tax expert.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, and this is all just education.
Of course.
Right. This is no advice today. This is all education. So that's the disclaimer for all of us here.